So how am I able to travel and stay in the Philippines and use a small budget and save money? Let's talk about it. Hey yo everyone, what's up? It's your boy Jesse. How y'all doing today? It's another beautiful day out today, as you can see. A little cloudy, but y'all are used to that now, huh? It's always cloudy here. Today, let's talk a little bit about great ways to budget if you're traveling to the Philippines. Let's just say you're not staying here long term, but you're on a budget. And so these are some of the things you can do to save as much money as possible. If you're just traveling to the Philippines, if you haven't traveled yet, or even if you're in the Philippines, one of the biggest ways to save money actually is to book your flights or your hotel. If you're staying at a hotel, book them in advance. Now, I would say make sure to book it months in advance if you can. If not, try to go at least a month in advance, especially with the plane tickets. Plane tickets are very expensive. I'll be honest with you, if I had only stayed in the Philippines for 30 days, my biggest expense would have been the round trip plane ticket. I could have easily stayed here for a cheaper price than what I paid for the plane ticket to get here. For 30 days, easily. Highly recommend. Book the flight in advance. Another thing to do when you're here, I would suggest when it comes to moving around, when it also comes to transportation, if you're going to island hop, I'd suggest taking the ferry. The ferry's probably cheaper than taking a private boat or taking a plane. Just take a ferry. Ferries are the best way to do that. They're not as expensive. You can go on a cheap ferry for a decent price, and you won't have to worry about it. You don't have to worry about breaking the bank on that. But also, if you can walk to places, I'd suggest just to walk. There's some places I don't like to walk, and usually those are the cities, because the traffic is so bad, especially in places. There's some places in Manila that I could not walk in because I don't know when to cross the road. I don't understand the rules of the road. Are so strange here, and there are times in Calibo. There are sometimes I absolutely hate walking in Calibo because I don't understand the traffic. It's just gotta be quick and hope that people will slow down. I'm used to a lot more strict rules when it comes to driving, and I'm also used to a lot more stoplights and stuff, which I don't really get here. But if you can walk, though, I highly suggest to just walk. Not only is it cheaper, but also, I mean, you get to see more, you get to experience more when you're walking. So, do that if you can. Also, try using trikes. Those aren't too bad either. They're actually really cheap, and if you know how to talk to people, you can get a decent price in places like Manila, places like that. And I know that some of the trikes here are some of them are more expensive than others. But one guy, we like his trike because he was very cheap, actually. And he said that he was so cheap because he didn't want us to think that he was making it more expensive because I was white. And so we actually try to find him every time, and when we do, we try to give him a really good tip. What we would pay even if it wasn't him, we'd give him more than what a typical trike driver would even ask for, because that was very kind of him. I'll also say, when it comes to staying at hotels and stuff, I would suggest looking for a hostel or maybe even camping. I just recently bought a tent that I'm going to use, and I go to the beach, or if I go hiking, I bought a tent that I'll probably use. And it's obviously, you know, I guess if you're traveling, sometimes it's hard to carry a tent around. And I got a decently sized tent just in case we have people with us that need a place to sleep. But also hostels are good, and you can even find local homes and stuff for cheap prices that they'll rent out to you. So, you know, look for stuff like that before you get a hotel. Hotels can usually be much more expensive, and I recommend that. That's what my fiance and me do when we go to Manila. We just rent out a little local home the lady has. It's more like a local condo. We just rent it out, and our apartment, and it's really nice. We stay there. Every time we go to Manila, we talk to her. But you have to look on places like Facebook or something like that. Instead of looking on some of the apps, and charge a crap ton of money for those people to use them, so they just don't have that money to use those apps. So, you know, I recommend just going on Facebook and looking. You can find something. Another thing comes to food. I'm not looking for a restaurant that is catered toward tourists. I promise you. Typically, if it is catered toward tourists, it's going to be more expensive. And sometimes it's going to be a lot more expensive. I would say eat local. Just eat local. Go to one of the little small restaurants, the local restaurants. Try the food there. And not to mention that if you eat local, I mean, by doing that, you are getting a better experience of what the Philippines is really like. Because you're trying actual food that Filipinos make. You're not trying eating stuff from a restaurant that would be designed for like people who are not even really Filipino. So, and also you're supporting people who don't have a lot of money, people with low income, since the tourist restaurants are typically owned by richer people. They have a lot more money. So keep that in mind, especially if you want to support the local community, and you want to actually eat authentic food, and you want to eat cheap. Go to the local restaurants and give a good tip. Finally, guys, last thing I'll say you should do is, instead of going on tour guides, which are fun, I guess, you know, I'll be honest, I've never done a tour guide before, so I can't say for sure that tour guides are fun. I don't like tour guides. I don't want someone to tell me what we're going to be looking at, what I want to look at. But I'll say, if you're that type of person who prefers tour guides, if you want to save money, just create your own tour guide, you know, do it yourself. I know for some of you that might sound a little terrifying. I can understand that, especially if you've not been out in the country much or whatnot. But one, it's cheaper. Two, you get to see more of stuff that you would want to see, and not what the tour guides would say are the best things to see. And you get that sense of adventure. It's fun to go out, figure things out yourself. The Philippines isn't a scary place. It's a fun place. People are nice. People are friendly. So you don't really need the tour guides. And most people that I've spoken with know English, at least good enough to be able to talk to you and understand you. So don't be afraid to do your own tour. You'll save money, you'll see more of what you want, and you get a better adventure. Plus you may end up needing to talk to the locals. And if you don't want to do that, why would you even come if you didn't want to do that? So, there you go, guys. Those are my top ways to save money. I know I've rapidly fired off some on you, but I know that saving money is very you want to travel. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, do the comment section. Please like and subscribe, guys. Know you're valuable and you're blessed and you matter. God bless. Peace.